And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone, and it is another edition of the Weighing In Podcast, and my man, Podcast Day, was just sitting there, and here we go, where he's mimicking my man, Mike Goldberg, a guy that is fantastic at what he does. Josh, you've heard that voice way too many times.
Yes,
I'm not talking about Podcast Days, even though you have heard that voice way too many times, too.
A couple too many times. Oh, man, it's been a good weekend. It's been hot here in California. But I guess it's also very hot in Texas right now, too. So it's getting
hot
there.
Everywhere. Everywhere.
It's getting there. So, yeah, spent all day yesterday in the sun watching kids soccer, and shit, it's been, as you guys can tell, my face is a little red. But, yeah. Look, let's get into the fights. Let's get right into the fights, man. Before we do that, though, go to WeighingInMerch.com, pick up some of our new shirts, new apparel, all those things. And OnlyFans.com/weighingin. Check us all out there. It's free subscription over at OnlyFans.com/weighingin.
Did you say free subscription?
Free subscription, right? Subscribe to us for free. Subscribe to us for free. Free.
I got it. So it's a free subscription.
There's a couple words that are worldwide that everyone knows. It's called
free.
No. Yes.
True. Is no. Yes is not.
And free.
No is definite.
I think yes is a pretty, like, if you shake your head yes, they just agree. Like,
well, yeah, if you shake, that's sign language, though.
That's universal language, though. Yes, no.
Okay, let me ask you this. If I go like that, is that a universal language?
That's true. That is true. I didn't even think about the bird.
Oh, dude,
I think so. You think everyone knows that worldwide?
I think so.
Oh, it's probably, yeah, you're probably right.
I do think so.
And then the word free. The word free. If you say it's free, they'll just pack more shit on there because they're like, oh, it's free. Let me just take some more.
Oh, free? Woo, baby.
Free? Well, yeah. So that's a universal language, I think. What other words do you think are out there that are free? People will know.
It's funny because, Hickson Gracie used to talk about how he learned English with me and stuff. And he goes, the thing is the major words are all the same in different languages. He goes, like, university, universidad. Mm-hmm. He would just go through all, certain words. It's because of the Latin root. It's all the same. So, but then you get into acrylic and you get into all these other languages. It doesn't matter. I say no is as close to the most universal words spoken that everyone understands. I think free's pretty good too, though. You're right.
Yeah. You know what else is funny is, like, I think, like, fuck you. Like, you think about, like, Brazilians, right?
Well,
like,
dude, just ask Patricio.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly where I was going with that.
You guys, Americans love that. Fuck you. So I just say fuck you.
He says, I just say fuck you. Every time I don't like something, I say fuck you. When I don't have a response to something or I don't understand what you're saying, I just yell fuck you.
Just fuck you. You guys love it.
Them in the contract negotiation room.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, dude. I don't understand that. Fuck you.
All right. Well, hey.
Let's talk about the UFC from the Apex Center. And you know why they were at the Apex Center?
No, why
couldn't go to the T-Mobile because the Golden Knights were playing the Panthers in the start of the Stanley Cup. And if you're not watching the Stanley Cup, you're missing stuff because the Stanley Cup is awesome.
Who won last night?
Golden Knights. Take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, against Florida, huh?
Could be their first. Either team, it will be their first Stanley Cup, so that's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. That is cool. That is cool. I would like to see Florida get it done, though.
No, I'd like to see the Golden Knights.
No, you're like, because you used to live
no,
in
see,
Vegas.
okay, hold on. Here's the problem. Is our man Nordy works with the Stars, so my entire household, you figure I used to live in the entire household here, they are all for the Golden Knights. And so I'm the only one going with the Stars. And then the Stars won, the game to put it into the next. So they were going back to Dallas, and the captain was there, and I was talking nothing but smack, and they got fucking whooped.
the game 7 was like what, 6-0 or 5-0, right?
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
They got smashed in game. Yeah,
it was game 7. It was game 6.
Got it.
Yeah. Golden Knights are too good, man. They're good everywhere.
They are, but I hope Florida gets it done. But Florida's got the better goalkeeper. Normally, the team that's got the better goalkeeper wins.
I don't know. I think Golden Knights goalkeeper's pretty goddamn
He's
good.
good. I didn't say he wasn't good. I'm just saying the better one, though, is from Florida. But it wasn't better last night.
Florida's kind of like when the Kings won against the Rangers. They're coming off of not having a great season, being one of the last teams as far as in the rankings.
Yeah.
But you figure Florida beat the Boston Bruins, who had the best season ever.
Yeah.
And then went out to Florida. You look and go, damn.
Yeah, but you got to remember that year the Kings beat the Rangers. They beat the San Jose Sharks in the first round. They were up. They were the San Jose Sharks
after being down. That's right.
Down 3-0. The Sharks were up 3-0 and they lost. They ended up losing in Game 7. Yeah, they were the best team in the league. They had, believe they had the best record in NHL history going into the postseason.
They might have.
Yeah, they did.
That's the best part about playoff hockey. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Doesn't matter.
It
It's all who's gotten healthy and who's on right now and who has the hot goalkeeper. Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's talk about Albazi and Kai France.
You talk about that fight. It was a good fight. It was a very close fight. It was a competitive fight. I thought I was super, super impressed with Kai France's defensive wrestling. His ability to stop takedown, because Albazi is a good wrestler. He's able to take people down. He did a phenomenal job. Did everything right. Relaxed. He looked so good when he was in situations that you could think that he'd start to panic. No panic.
Yeah.
Just continued to do what he was supposed to do. In the stand-up, they were close. I thought Kai France was better in the stand-up. I thought he landed, some really nice, clean shots at times. I think that he frustrated Albazi. And Albazi's going to learn a lot from this fight. He got the win. It was close. I hear people complaining. It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
It was a split decision.
Yeah. One
judge saw it for Kai France. Two saw it for Albazi. It was close, and neither guy can complain about the loss. You really can't.
I agree with you 100%. I was like reading all the comments for people saying that he got robbed, that Kai France got robbed. It was a robbery, this and that. I was like, no, he did not get robbed. It was a very close fight. Could have went either way.
Yeah. They both had moments.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I actually when they got done with the fight, I was leaning towards Albazi.
I was leaning toward Kai France.
Yes, I was leaning towards Albazi. I thought he landed some clean, hard shots on the feet. I thought he did some good work. I know Kai France stuffed the takedowns, but the threatening of certain positions, the rear naked choke that was super tight in that round, I gave him that round. I gave Albazi that round as well. I believe I gave Albazi like the first.
I gave Albazi the first. I gave Kai France the second.
Okay, I think I even gave
the
Kai
third
France.
went to Albazi. Fourth and fifth I had to Kai Kara.
Okay, I think whatever round the rear naked was. So I had it like first. I had it first round, and I think it's third. And
I think the third round was the where he had the choke on him.
Yeah. So I ended up giving Albazi but the fight, but it was so close, John. Like when people start, like I said,
close.
Terms that are thrown around way too much. Robbery and the GOAT. The GOAT and the word robbery. It's like, no, it wasn't a robbery. It was a close fight. It was back and forth. They had some, and I think we weighed too much on, this guy's supposed to be really good at something, and he wasn't able to get it. So we weigh more.
So he's losing.
So he's losing. No, he's not losing. No, it's like there was so much response put on when Henry Cejudo fought Aljo. Oh, Aljo got the takedown. Oh my God. I'm like, okay, cool. But it was like almost because he was an Olympian that we should have held it against him even more that he lost the takedown. This is the game, man. Like Olympic wrestling and all those things is different when you're getting punched or when someone's trying to knock your head off. Everything, the timing of it all of that stuff it can be done. I thought Henry did a great job in stuffing those takedowns majority of the time. But
as did Kai France in this one.
Exactly. But it doesn't mean that he lost the fight. Albazi lost the fight just because he couldn't get certain takedowns. He still had some good stuff on the feet. He still did some good stuff. When he did get the takedowns, he had some good stuff. He got to the back, threatened the rear naked choke. That was deep, extremely deep. So overall, it was a good fight. When you want to see a lot of MMA, what you want to see in MMA is a mixture of all the martial arts. You want to see them scramble like two ferrets on the ground, get back up to your feet, and get after it. So I thought it was a good fight. But it was definitely wasn't a robbery. Definitely not.
No.
So,
close fight.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Next.
Good fight overall. Very competitive. And you got to, Albazi's really going to move up. I think his Cara France was ranked 3rd, and I think Albazi was 7th.
4, yeah.
Yeah, so he's really going to be moving up off of that, which is good for his career and stuff. And Cara France is in that position. He's got a lot of losses, but he's still goddamn good.
Yeah, he's tough.
And in that weight class, man, he's got a lot of potential to still be that guy. I don't think this is the end for him. I don't think this is he's going to be, going downhill. He looks better now than he has in any of his fights in the past. I mean, he's getting better still.
Yeah,
that says a lot.
Yeah, I can't imagine him dropping too much. I mean, maybe like below Royval, maybe even stays above Nicolau, or he falls between 5 and 6 somewhere in there. Perez.
They have Figueiredo ranked number 1. He said he's going to bantamweight.
Got it.
So that one automatically, moves it. Pantoja's got the title fight. Royval's right there, Nicolau and stuff, but Albazi's going to be somewhere up, maybe right underneath Royval.
Yeah. I see right around Alex Perez and Nicolau. I see that.
Yeah.
Right in there somewhere. And then you got Albazi that'll move up. So, but then if Figueiredo moves and goes to 35, I don't think he's gonna have a whole lot of success at 35. That fucking's murderer's row. Murderer's row. Yeah. Just like
it's bad.
All right, next fight.
Division. We had Alex Caceres taking on Daniel Pineda. This was one of those people can look at, records and everything, and both have had a lot of losses, but both are fighting at this point, some of the best they've ever, especially Alex Caceres. He has really turned the corner as an all-around fighter. Before, he was a striking guy who put him on his back, he'd be in trouble. He'd have, some problems there. His last loss was to Cain Gracie, and he got, taken to the ground on that one. People don't realize what it's like to grapple with someone like Cain. You make one little mistake, it's going to be over. But other than that, man, he hasn't lost in 7 fights now, 8 fights. He looks freaking good, Josh. He is fighting well. His scrambles are good. His stand-up is clean. He's fucking long. He's in and out. He's doing everything well. At 34 years of age, he is by far the best he has ever been.
I mean, that's still kind of your prime. I mean, I really believe it. 34, 35, towards the end of your prime, but you're still there. I think you can have a long prime if you're into the, all the way up into 36. When you start getting to like the end of 36, 37, 38 is when you start noticing the difference, especially in the lighter weight classes. But man, he looks clean. He looks smooth. He's, I think, like you said, he's finally coming to his own. He believes in himself. Things that he's doing are working for him. And when you're having success, I mean, whether it's on the feet, stuffing takedowns, getting up off your back, all of those things, which he is, I think that, he can make a little bit of a run here. Is he even ranked though?
He's like at 15 or something like that.
He's flyweight. 15. There you go.
Yeah, and I love the call out. Who did he call out?
Who did he call out?
Volkanovski. Volkanovski. I loved it. Now it's great. Hey, if you're gonna go all the way. You're 34. You're in your prime. Do it now. They're not going to give it to him, but hey. Yeah, that's what you want to see.
Well, his last loss.
My God.
I know his last loss was against Youssef. So Sadiq Youssef. So if he could try to jump him and get into he should be trying to fight guys like Calvin Kattar. I mean, if I look at the guy that he could possibly
I think him and Giga Chikadze would be a great fight.
Yeah. Because on the feet, he could be able to stick and stay away, and then if he does get the fight to the ground, I think he'd have the advantage on the ground over Giga. Yep. But I enjoy watching him. I mean, he's come a long way in terms of his maturity. And like you said, he's ranked number 15. So good on him, man. Good on him. Whatever happened to Edson Barboza? Did he fight recently? He fought what?
Yes,
a couple months back, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't heard much about him lately. He's kind of fallen off.
Fallen off. I don't know about that one. He had a win in his last one.
Yeah.
It was recent.
No, he beat Billy.
Yep.
But then Bryce Mitchell and Giga, he lost to both of those guys.
And it's like once a year at that point.
Yeah. All right, next fight.
We had the man, Jim Miller. It's funny, Josh. I have people all the time asking questions. You say something about they're out of position, they're overextending. What does that mean? Watch this fight. It will tell you exactly what that means. Because Jesse Butler, you're a dog for coming in and taking that fight last minute against someone like Jim Miller. It was your chance, but you threw so hard, you overextended, you got put out of position, and Jim Miller hit you with a left hook that hit you as flush in the middle of the face as it could. It was lights out at that point. 23 seconds. My God, 23 seconds it took Jim Miller to get rid of him. And, it's nice to see Jim have those fights because we've seen Jim fight for so long, have some, grueling fights, ones that he's won, ones that he's lost, but he's still got snap. And if you're able to get someone that puts themselves in that spot where they're out of position and you can fucking launch a good clean shot, which Jim did 2 in a row, those left hooks. Good night. Great win.
Yeah, it was over quick. But I mean, the way he hit him, I because his back, from what I was watching, his back, Butler's back was to us. So you didn't see the shot. All I saw him just was collapse. So he just collapsed against the fence, and I was like, holy shit. And I had to go back and watch the replay to see exactly what he hit him with. But it was beautiful, man. And I think, I don't know, I kind of feel like people are underestimating Jim Miller. Like, as he gets older, like, oh, he doesn't look like he does anything great. It's like but that's the way his whole career's been. He's been a good wrestler. He's got good submissions. He's been all of these things. He's got power in his hands. But man, I think he's reinvented himself, like how Andrei Arlovski did, before last night. But how he reinvented himself, and he's made it to where he doesn't take a lot of damage, and he's able to get through these fights, and fights like this where the guy came in last minute, was able to put him away. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be able to put these people away. So good on him, man. Good for him.
It was good. It was nice to see him get that win. Tim Elliott took on Victor Altamirano. We've known that Altamirano is very good, off of his back. He's got a good ground game in the top position, but he was unable to really get to the top position with Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott was able to take him down pretty much at will when he wanted. In the stand-up, Tim, wasn't trying to do a lot of damage. He was trying to set his, takedowns up. But Tim Elliott, just a dog in fighting. He is slowing down. It's the one thing that you can really see is you can see there's a difference in his speed, but he's still dangerous. And man, he's just as tough as nails. The guy can take big shots, but how long are you going to be able to take those big shots over and over? Maybe, for the next, 10 years if you're him, but he came away with a very nice win. He said he wasn't happy with it, the way he performed. I thought he performed against a young, really up and coming, good fighter. I thought he performed as good as you could expect.
Dave, you had some news on him, right? What did he say after the fight when he was talking about some stuff with Dana, right? Something happened with the UFC?
Yeah, so he said that he flew his family out for the show, thinking that they would get tickets. I guess he said that that's common. But he said we didn't get our comp tickets for this one, and he's like, it's bad enough fighting at the Apex where you don't have your fans to like support you, and now you can't even have your family. For he expecting that he's going to get comped on the tickets. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Well, it depends on how many family members. Like if you've got, it's normally like if it's your wife, they'll give you one, or if you have a wife and say,
we're not going to even talk about his wife.
Yeah, that's right. That's
problems
true.
there.
But if we can have, it depends. It depends on how many people. Like when he says family members, well, how many?
Come on,
6,
Josh,
8,
Josh,
10?
Josh, take a look at the Apex. They're selling it out, right?
I know. It's
Give me a
jam-packed.
break. Okay, there's empty
get
seats
it.
everywhere in there. They should have at least been able to give 5, 4.
Are you favoring someone if you give them that many?
Here's the point. I always talk about putting butts in seats, and that's a fighter's job and everything. It's different with the Apex. they're not looking to sell anything. They're not there to make any money off of ticket sales. Because that, when you're looking at it as a promoter, you don't want to give away tickets because you're just handing away money. Well, at the Apex, that's all they do is hand away tickets. So it's not like, oh, this is affecting your bottom line. And when you have empty seats in the place, you should have given those tickets.
I mean, if you're offering someone, 4 to 6 tickets and the person he's fighting got none or got 1 or 2, then he has more of a crowd than the other person. Like, are you being biased? I mean, you got to look at it in different ways. I don't know. I don't know.
He's got all 3 of them were with you.
Yeah. That makes a difference when it's quiet. When it's dead quiet in there. Yeah. You know,
3 people can sound
when
like
you fight in Japan, right, in front of 25,000
gallery.
people. If I've got 2 family members, they're way louder than that whole crowd. I don't know. I agree with you on the take that it's your job to sell tickets, but like you said, it's at the Apex. Could have given them tickets, but who knows? You never know what they're doing, man. You never know. I think them being at the Apex, like you and I talked about.
Okay, and this is one that I'm going to say. See, this kind of stuff happens, and the UFC's going to get some people that are going to, they're not doing anything wrong, and people that are going to say, oh, they're shitheads for doing this. This is one that I'm going to guarantee Dana didn't know about it. The UFC as a company, you had an employee that fucking said no, made a decision, and it makes the company look bad. So
yeah. Which is weird to me. It's like, I mean, we just got the announcement they made, a couple $100 billion or $100 million, right? A couple $100 million.
360.
Yeah, $360 million or whatever it was in profit. And you guys can't spare 4 to 6 tickets.
And again, it's not. I know. Yeah. It's not Dana. It's not the head people. It was someone that is in a position that I can't give you any tickets. Yeah. And it's like, you made a mistake.
Well, John, remember when the UFC first started, when the Fertittas bought it, it used to be that you and your corners got separate rooms. Now you don't. And it used to be where they'd fly you in 2 corners. Now they fly you in 1 corner. Like, they've cut expenses across the board, all the way across.
You know why?
I mean,
do you know why?
Back then, they weren't making any money. But now they are.
Okay. Now, so it makes sense that back then they wouldn't do it, but now they would. But why don't they?
I don't know. You tell me.
Because they don't have to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because fighters you'll hear fighters say all the time, "Oh, it's my dream to fight in the UFC." Okay,
that's right. They don't have to.
It'll be a flash.
Other promotions, they fly quite a few people. They do things different. It's just part of the difference, but because they don't have to. And that's just a fact.
That's crazy.
It's just true.
If I don't know, I just look at what Tim said. Tim said what? He's like, oh, I didn't get any tickets to that, but I wouldn't be surprised if something said, to him or about him, to whether it was Dana or whoever else making the match, like, oh, well, he's complained about us, this and that. They'll have him back, but they can look at it a couple different ways. They could treat him like shit now because of what he thinks he said in public, or oh yeah, that's something that's just standard policy. We don't give tickets.
I don't know. I've seen a whole lot of family members in the Apex.
Yeah, it's true as well.
So the one thing I will say for Tim, in his corner, he had Chris the Strangler, Brennan, along with Lucas, his son. Those were Tim had to switch camps and everything, and now he's with Next Generation MMA. And so,
he's right down the road then.
Coaching.
It's right down the road from where I'm at.
Right, from where you're at. So
yeah.
So you better not say anything bad about him. Come over and whoop that ass,
please, brother. He's a flyweight. Like, I'm no longer a lightweight anymore, buddy.
He's a flyweight, but he's a dog.
He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog.
A dog, dude. Yeah.
I would just sit on him with my fucking dad, with my dad bod.
See, you're just gonna do what I do, right?
Yeah, right. I would just we'd get face to face, and I'd trip right before I hit him and just fall on top of him.
Boom, and
hold him down.
And all he did is look like arms doing this.
Next fight.
All right, we had Karine Silva against Caitlin Souza. This one went fast. I look at the submission, what it says. Knee bar. What the fuck, Josh? Can we fucking not understand? Yes, her knee popped. It wasn't a knee bar, but it was, she started to set up, looked like she's going for a straight ankle lock. The knee did pop. You could see it. I feel bad for Souza. That's just part of fighting and stuff. And Silva did exactly what she was supposed to do. Took her down, fucking dominated the positions, went for the submission, and the injury was due to her going for the submission. So,
yeah,
very nice win. Too bad that Souza got hurt, though.
All right, next fight. Do you think my boy won or lost?
He lost.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just being honest.
Go
ahead.
John, all he had to do is just pull the trigger more.
Yeah,
that's all.
That's exactly it. But he started getting into that. He was waiting and looking for that perfect time, and you saw Santos throwing, and not everything was landing with any effect, but it's just a look, and Abubakar is sitting there and he's just not throwing.
Yeah,
there's not enough output, and then when he did go to output, it was more wrestling based, and he wasn't getting them.
No,
and it just didn't look right. And I agreed with Santos winning the fight.
The thing with him though, right, is that he's got all the talent. Everyone keeps he gets knocked because he's not undefeated or he's lost fights or.
Well, think about this, okay? And I feel he's such a good guy. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. I'm telling everyone, dude, Abubakar is a great guy. He's funny. He's got a great personality. He's fun to be around.
He's a nut. But
you got to figure, and it's not easy. His mentor is Habib, 29-0. Okay, now let's take a look at the two guys wrapped around him with the same name, training out of the same place, cousins. You've got Umar, who's 16-0,
mm-hmm.
and you've got Usman, who's 17-0.
Yeah.
So out of everyone, you've got 4 losses now with the Nurmagomedov name in this group, and they all belong to one guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, and because he is a good fighter, and I think the weight of everything sometimes has an impact on his performance. Because you would definitely know, but you can watch him in the gym.
No.
He goes with anybody.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic. But under the lights, it tends to look. He hurt Santos in the first goddamn fucking 30 seconds of the fight, and then went straight in and allowed Santos to just recover off of what he did. And that's where you look and you go, the lights are creating a problem for you. You have pressure that you are putting on yourself in that I need to do something a certain way. And then when it's not going his way, he slows down his output because he wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
Am I saying something wrong there? Because he's a good fighter.
No, he's a good fighter. He just needs to pull the trigger. That's really what it came down to last night. I can't say what it was. I can't say maybe he felt something there that we just couldn't see from the TV. But, I mean, I felt like had he just thrown a little bit more, had he put a little bit more pressure, the takedowns would have came a little easier. And, he, like you said, he rocked him in the first round, in the first 30 seconds.
Dude, had him hurt.
Yeah. I feel like he could have got it done, and then he just let him kind of creep back into the fight, and shitty situation to be in. But he's not done. He's just, needs to just get back on the horse and, get back to riding. We'll see what happens. But he just trains so he since his early UFC career when he used to get tired, he's in shape now. He trains, he runs. I see him. We see him.
He was in shape.
He was in phenomenal shape. He just didn't pull the trigger. I'm like, come on, buddy. But it was so frustrating for me to sit there and watch and go, come on. Like, I know you've got it in you. Yeah, you see him in the gym. Yep. He's got a gas tank. He goes with the fresh guy every round as he gets closer to the fight. He's got power in his hands, and, he can be nasty in there, too. He can be a jerk, and he can be nasty when he's in there fighting. But, man, he's good. He just doesn't show it sometimes, and sucks. But it is what it is. Next fight.
Next fight was a strange contest when you looked at it, but Daniel Santos against Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz right away figured out, you know what? On the ground is where I want this fight. He kept on going to it. He kept on going to the body triangle, but he would open it up to go for the submissions and everything. But Daniel Santos was just too much. He's too much ground and pound from the top, too much just raw aggression. He was just after him. It was like that raw aggression just made Johnny Munoz start to wilt under everything. It just wasn't his night compared to Santos, but he did last the entire fight. Couple of groin shots in there, a couple of bad things. Herb took a point from Santos on the second one, and okay, but that landed clean. It's partially, his leg movement that creates that up. It landed clean, so it's like, I understand. Okay, you say, well, it's the second one, and that's not the one that you're going to take a point from. But he did.
I'm going to jump to the next fight with Andrei Arlovski. What's your take on him? Is it time?
It is time.
Yeah.
He's 44 years old.
Jeez, man.
Okay, and I love Andre. I always have. He's a great guy. But when you're looking, you say, okay, why are you fighting? Now you're fighting for a paycheck. And I understand that. But, he can do other things too and get the paycheck. He just can't get him in the lump that he's getting, from fighting. But there comes a point where your health, is being diminished. And how long? He's got a son. You want to be there with your son and stuff. Nothing against Dontel Mays. Dontel Mays, big, strong, tough dude. But in his prime and in Andre's prime, it wouldn't have been close.
Not even close.
No,
Andre
that's why I look and go, it's not.
Andre was a savage when he came onto the scene, man.
Dude.
He was a savage. I feel like he kind of after the Fedor fight is when things started to turn, kind of take a spiral downhill for that. I know he came back, had some good fights, and he was up and down, but he's always been like kind of up and down, I think, since the Fedor fight.
Do you remember his fight? You want to talk about a fight. Andre, when he fought Travis Brown. I don't know if you remember it.
I don't remember.
God damn, Mark Smith was the referee because it was funny because the commission had come to me and said, "Do you think Mark Smith, putting him in I said, "Yeah, he's ready. He can do it. That's a great fight for him." Man, I'll tell you what. Those guys went after it, and fucking Andre had Travis hurt for so much of it, and then Travis launches a shot and it knocks Andre down. And unbelievable fight. But those are the fights that he's had that they've had an effect on him, and he changed his style based upon that kind of fight. Of I can't get into these firefights. I need to just what I call dink and dunk. Let me just touch and get out of the way and not get hit by the big shot, and I'll walk away with a decision victory. Okay. Yeah. And he's done that. What a fight this was. These guys went after each other. It was so good.
It's crazy.
I'm showing it to John and Josh right now. And for audio listeners, you guys can. It's just on YouTube. It's a highlight clip.
Yeah, it's a look. I look at whatever happened to Travis Brown. I know he got married to Ronda.
What
right?
happened to Travis? He hit the jackpot. He fell in love with Ronda, and they have the Browsey Acres in Riverside, California, where he is a farmer now. God bless Travis Brown.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Travis was a stud, man.
Yeah, but he went through a phase, right, of trying to figure out who he was. He went from being a fighter like this, then he tried to make himself Dominic Cruz. And that didn't work out either. No, I don't know. He always had power. He's a big guy. Remember his knockout of Josh Barnett?
Yep.
Where he against the fence, the elbows, nasty, just nasty stuff.
Totally.
I'm gonna go back and watch this fight because I don't recall ever seeing this fight.
Oh my God, it's good.
I have to watch it.
They start just throwing in this thing. What a great fight it was.
All right, next fight.
Let me get back for you. There you go.
There you go.
We had John Castaneda versus Moon Gafurov. It was a good fight. I thought Castaneda, really showed a lot of guts in it. You had Gafurov, he got a point taken from him for a headbutt. And he, this is what, look, he led with his head. And he did it, intentionally.
Yeah.
So I understand why Chris took the point and stuff, because you can see, anytime that your head is in front of your hands and you're going for, acting like I'm throwing shots. Yeah, you're leading with your head. You know you can't do that. So he took points from it. He ended up losing that, in a unanimous decision. And but really tough fight by Castaneda. Those guys were going back and forth. It was a brawl.
I mean, I'm glad that Chris, the ref, was able to actually see it and actually assess the point deduction, because some refs, they don't see headbutts and they just
absolutely,
they let it slide, and then next thing you know, the fight's over because
and some fighters
they don't do their job.
They're very weak when it comes to their skulls anyway.
Yeah. Old age does that to you. Yeah, I was a little hesitant on the point taken. Like, I get it, but I don't know. Sometimes fighters, do you think he did it on purpose?
Yes. He lunged forward. There's no doubt he did it on purpose. Yeah. The way he put his head, you can see.
Yeah.
Tilted his head down because he wants it to hit right off the top of that forehead. Yeah, he did it. He knew what he was doing. So.
All right, next fight.
But his countryman, Mr. Naimov, going against Jamie Malarkey. What a fight that was. Malarkey was looking good, but the one thing I was sitting there with a friend. I said, because they were talking about his jab, and I go, yeah, his jab looks good. I said, but he keeps dropping it every time. I said, watch him. That jab is going out, it's coming down, and that's what he got hit with, was a fucking right hook over the top of that jab. And it's like, dude, habits. You start to get into that habit of dropping that thing down. He was looking really good.
He looked really good.
Yeah,
I mean, he was hitting Naimov with some big shots, and I was like, oh shit, like he's controlling the pace of the fight, and he was controlling everything. And I was like, wow, he's looking really good, just almost a little too confident. I'm doing everything I want, and they just kind of started opening himself up a little bit too much, overextending, and then pop. I was like, oh shit. I mean, like, it caught me by surprise though. So, but Malarkey was looking good. If I'm Malarkey, I'm thinking to myself, go back to the drawing board. Not many changes. Just kind of just clean things up, clean it up. Don't be too down on yourself. You made a mistake, you got caught, and the lights went out. But I mean, you was looking real good up until then.
There was a question. I don't know, question. Herb stopped that fight. It was a good stop.
Yeah, it was.
And Malarkey complained about it, and then Brendan Fitzgerald says, Malarkey complained about it. Brendan, your job is to say there's no fucking complaint that should be made. The man couldn't stand up. Yeah. Finally, when seconds later, when he finally can get up and then create you shouldn't have stopped it. No, you need to be honest about it. That was a good stoppage.
Mm-hmm. So, any other fights on here you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Damone Blackshear, because I thought he looked really good. He fought smart. I've seen him in fights where he didn't fight that smart. He wore himself out. In this one, you had Lacerda, who was going after different leg locks and stuff, and he was just being smart. He was figure four in the leg. He was being controlled. He would land shots for one. And when the opening came for him to really land shots off of Lacerda, he opened up and puts him away. That was a smart, good fight, and he's looking better and better. Good athlete. So he's someone to people are going to look and say, oh, he's got I don't know what, 5-6 losses. Doesn't matter. The guy's getting better as a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, like, you look at a lot of the best fighters in the world. They all have their records are probably up closer to 500 than they are the other way. I mean, you got Randy Couture, you got BJ Penn. These guys, they fought everyone. And I'm not saying he's going to be one of them. But you've got to fight the best fighters. You got to have some losses on your record to figure out how you can get better. We'll see. But good on him. Great fight, and that's gonna wrap up our UFC talk. So, Dave, what else? You got some news for us, correct?
Yeah. So the first one I want to get into are comments by Dana White about trying to an offer he put out to Tyson Fury to try and get him over to the UFCs.
I like Tyson Fury. I have a great relationship with Tyson Fury. So there's this debate right now about the baddest man on the planet, right? And Jon Jones is the baddest man on the planet. There's no doubt about it. So when you talk about who the baddest man on the planet is, if two guys fought in a fight, who would win? If you want to discuss another possible baddest man on the planet, it would be Tyson Fury, okay, in a boxing arena. And we all know that if Jon Jones boxed Tyson Fury wins. all these boxing guys want to talk about this, and they want to keep it in the ring. I'm telling Tyson Fury, whom I respect very much, if you really want to find out who the baddest man on the planet is, I will make that fight. I will make Jon Jones versus Tyson Fury in the octagon. And, we'll figure out. We figured out how to pay Floyd. We'll figure out how to pay you too, Tyson. So the offer is out there. If you want to do it in the UFC, I know he was messing around with MMA for a little while there. Let's do it. Let's answer the question. But these guys aren't boxing. It's just for these guys to go in and box. You either want to fight. You want the title of baddest man on the planet. Let's do it. I'm in.
I mean, are you making that $150 million, $200 million? If you're making that, I mean, I would just take the fucking fight.
If you're Tyson?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I look, I'm tired of all the boxers going, hey, fight me over here. And the only reason why they're able to do that is because the top level boxers make more money than UFC top level guys. That's the only reason why they're able to do it. If they weren't making more than them, then you'd be like, well, why would I go over there? I'm making more than you over here. Like in my sport, my sport pays more. But that's only for the top level guys. You look at some of the lower level people that fight on the undercard of the undercard of boxing. They're making fucking peanuts, like peanuts.
That's right.
So, and there's there's only a handful of fights.
I'm going to say this. First off, you're kind of throwing a little bit of shade at Francis because Francis didn't lose and he was the baddest man on the planet. He still hasn't lost, but now Jon Jones is, and I understand why.
Yeah.
But I loved everything he said. It's the best way in the world that Dana can try to put this together, even though it's not going to happen. But he's saying, look, hey, I have a lot of respect for, we're friends, and if you think you're the baddest man, I'll put that fight together. Yeah, of course you will, because you make a lot of money off of it. But this is what everyone needs to understand. Josh, the truth of the matter is this. Fighting in all different forms, and there's a ton of different forms, all have people that are badder than the other.
Yeah.
Okay? Everything comes down to this. If this fight happened on the street, who wins?
Yeah.
When there's no rules. When there's no rules, there's all kinds of things that I can run your head into. There's all kinds of things that I can pick you up and drop you on. There's all kinds of things that have an influence on what you can take. That's really what the baddest man on the planet is. Not the guy who can, with two tools, stand in a ring and outstrike someone with those two tools. There's too many tools available in real fighting. I'm not going to put boxing down. I love boxing. It's fantastic, but it's limited by its targets and its tools. The MMA is limited by the rule sets that we have implemented based upon, safety. In a real fight, if you want to go and pick someone up and drop them on their head on concrete, you can do that. Mm-hmm. That's real fighting. That, when you say who's the baddest man on the planet, it depends on, where you're at and who you're around. But who's the best MMA fighter? I'll give it to Jon Jones. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the best boxer? I'll give it to Tyson Fury. But neither one could possibly be the baddest man. There could be somebody else out there too. But great. I love the great, audition for a possibility for everything. I thought Dana did it the right way.
You ever seen the movie Snatch?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic movie. Fantastic. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I get a little concerned when you start dealing with like gypsies and pikeys. Like, you don't know how it's going to end up. Like,
no.
And so when you're dealing with someone like Tyson Fury, you're just thinking to yourself, does he have it in him? Can he beat Jon Jones? I don't know. But it sparks an interest. There's an interest there.
No. First off, can he? Yes. Will he? I doubt it.
Yeah, I know. I'm obviously leaning towards the MMA guy, obviously, and then we're not talking about any MMA guy. We're talking about Jon Jones.
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely leaning that way. I didn't even think about him sliding the Francis Ngannou thing, but that's not even on his radar anymore. He's moved on. Dana's one of those guys. Like, I moved on with my life. Francis went his way, we went our way, and whatever it is. Right. But I just can't imagine. Had it been anybody else, this would have gotten a lot more heat. You know what I mean? Had it been anybody else, but it's Jon Jones. But you know what I mean? Like, had this happened, had it been another fighter that came up from 205 and became champion, they'd still be talking about Francis. But because it's Jon Jones, everyone's like, that's right. Yeah, we already know who the best guy is.
And you can't blame anyone for it.
No,
and I can't blame Dana for it.
Absolutely not.
He absolutely has, a case that, I'll put Francis against Jon, and I think Jon wins. Okay.
Jon, what was that you just did? What was that? You're starting to sound like me, buddy.
Yeah, true.
All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
All right, we have an early report. Breco Omoto put out the UFC's working on Almeida versus Blaydes.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying for November, so it's quite far out. We just want to get some early thoughts here on this fight being put together.
Long ways away, but the two best guys that are actually fighting right now that are not the champion, because Steve, I can't. It's hard to say what Stipe is doing. I don't know, but in the heavyweight division, those are, besides Stipe and Jon Jones, your two best grapplers.
Yeah.
Almeida's just looked fantastic. The real question is, where is Curtis Blaydes' confidence at? Where's his mindset at? He can win this fight. There's no doubt in my mind he can win this fight, but he's going to win it by being, a guy that's got to be aggressive, because Almeida's going to come after him. Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Almeida, though, is that I feel like he needs to get this fight to the ground. I don't know if he's got the ability to get this fight to the ground. Not against Curtis.
It is a question.
Mm-hmm. And what happens to him when he's on his feet, he's being pressured, and he can't get the takedown? So, will he wilt? Will he get too tired? Will he start blowing his wad? Like, what are the things that'll happen to him? Will he panic? Will he take desperation shots? Will it make it easier for Curtis Blaydes to get to the top position and do work and damage? Who knows? But
wait, hey, what are you doing there? What are you doing
I know. I'm not making weird noises though. But if he, this is a big test for Almeida. I mean, Almeida's he's gonna have to fight this. He's gonna have to be a very smart fight. Now, the other question is, will this be a main event? Like at the Apex on a fight night? What will it be?
It does say 5-rounder. So I'd imagine a main event at least on a fight night.
Apex,
yeah, it's at the Apex probably, or some small town probably.
I did forget about Tom Aspinall. Aspinall's a very good grappler.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah. But this is gonna be good. I'm excited for it. I think Almeida is kind of the future, and Curtis Blaydes, he's got to get back. He's got to get on the win track, man. He was doing so well, and then just coming off of his loss, correct?
Yeah.
We'll see.
He's still up there.
Yeah. We'll see. But I'm interested in that fight.
Pavlovich is a problem for a lot of people.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen with the Stipe thing and Pavlovich, and Cyril he's off for a bit. Oh, sorry guys. No, man. Sorry guys.
Hey, do yourself a favor. Smack yourself.
I know. I got to go sit in the sun again today and watch some more soccer. It's going to be all day in the sun. It's hot here today. It's hot here in the next couple of days.
Soccer.
It's hot. All right, what's next you got for us, Dave?
All right, I'll give you a chance to sleep right now, Josh, and I'll get some comments from Jon right now.
There you go.
So Randy Couture, Jon, was recently doing an interview, and he was talking about a big moment, biggest moment from his career. So I'll read it off to you. He talked about the Tim Sylvia fight, which I know you refereed. Just wanted to see if you had any additional thoughts while he's reflecting on it. See if you have any additional thoughts on the fight. Randy said, fighting Tim Sylvia in Ohio, at the time the biggest crowd in North America, about 22,000 people. That crowd was out of control that night. That last 10-second countdown in the 5-round fight, I'll never forget that. It still rings in my ears. Tim was an amazing competitor and a friend, and at 44 years old, having that fight go the way it did, that was special. That was a special night.
He's absolutely right. Look, there's so much behind that fight, and when he says it was the biggest crowd, it was because it beat the Strikeforce won in San Jose, held the North American record for the biggest crowd for an MMA fight at 18,000 something, 500, we'll say.
800 or 900 or something like that, yeah.
And then that fight, that was off of the Arnold, there's the Arnold Classic And so they did that fight based off of the Schwarzenegger classic that they would do with bodybuilding, all different sports and everything. And it ended up being, it wasn't 22,000, it was 19,000 something. But that was as many as they could put into that arena. And there was so much about it because, you know, when Randy retired off of losing to Chuck Liddell in the third fight that they had. And he hung him up, and we ended up doing all kinds of stuff together, you know. And I was actually at Extreme Couture when he comes to me and he says, "Hey, there's something I want to tell you." And I said, "Yeah, what?" And he goes, "I'm coming back." I go, "You're coming back?" I go, "Why?" And at the time he was 43, you know, and he said, he goes, just, you know, I was asked about it, then I thought about it. He says, I think I can beat the champ. Right. And I go, "They're giving you a championship fight?" And he goes, "Yep." He goes, "I'm going to fight Tim Sylvia." And I was like, "Well, good luck to you, man." And I said, you know, I would say that's, you know, style wise, it's a pretty good, I had seen Tim and Randy work out before and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, that's good. I said, but you know, God damn you know, and now it's a problem, you know, and I figured, I know that I'm not going to referee it. You know, there's no way, because I have to now go to the commission if I'm going to get assigned to the show. So I get assigned to the show, and I tell, Bernie Profato was the executive officer at the time. I tell him, I say, "Hey, Bernie, so you know," I said, "when Randy retired, I've done a lot of stuff. We got on motorcycle rides. We do, you know, GI Foundation things together and stuff." I said, you know, recuse me from that fight. I said, I can't do that fight. Yes. He goes, "Oh, okay. All right." He says, "I'll make sure that you're not going to do that fight." And probably a week later, I get a call from Bernie, and he says, "Hey," he says, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "Yeah, what?" And he says, "Well, I got a little bit of an issue." And I'm thinking, what's the issue? I told you, you know, that, you know, don't put me on the fights, what's going through my head. And I said, "Yeah, what's the issue?" And he says, "Well," he says, "I'm talking to Tim Sylvia's people, and they want you to referee that fight." Right? And I said, "Look, I don't have a problem refereeing the fight." I go, "If you want to put me on it," I said, I just had to tell you. I said, "Look, I figured out long ago, Randy Couture doesn't need me to help him win a fight. Neither does Tim Sylvia. They can do that just fine on their own. I'll be as fair as I can be." I go, "But you needed to know." And he goes, "All right, let me think about this." And the next thing I know, yeah, I'm going to referee that fight. So I was like, all right, but it was a cool fight. Randy came out, if you remember.
Yep, dropped him in the first.
Yeah, but you remember the walkouts? It all started with the walkout song.
No, I didn't hear it. What was it?
The walkout song. "I'm back."
Oh.
Back in the saddle again, right? And I was like, I'm standing there, I go, that's fucking cool.
That was cool.
That's great, right? Because he walked out first, and yet within the first 30 seconds, he knocks Tim on his ass.
Yeah.
Tim goes down and oh,
yeah,
you know, and he was on him the whole time. Look, he beat Tim up in that.
Yeah,
fight.
he did.
And I you know, I had a lot of conversations with Tim's, you know, management and team before, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna maul him. We're gonna fuck him up," right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, "Oh, yeah. I understand why you're saying it and stuff, but man, I'll tell you what, that last 10 seconds, because one of the things that you do as a referee is when you hear that, you know, and there's a lot of things that have come about. You know, I came up with you'll see the referees point at the timetable when you hear that
the
clapping of the boards.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that was a fight off of Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell. I learned something off of it, and from that point, started pointing. And so, you know, you also, you know, when I'm talking to referees, you want to count down in your head so you know just about when it's going to go, so you can get in between. So if someone's throwing a punch or anything, you can try to either block it or. And so, you know, the normal thing is, you know, I would start counting. Well, I didn't have to, because he's right. That whole fucking crowd was 10, 9, 8, 7. You could just, I was like, holy shit, because they knew, you know, he had won the fight. It's a huge fucking, you know, victory for him. But it was a great night. Great night for him. I felt bad for Tim, but Tim took it like a man. Tim, you know, he responded well to it, and that's what champions do.
Yeah, I mean, Tim's a great guy, man.
He is.
He's doing the slap fighting thing right now.
No, dude, I saw that.
I know. He's got a big match coming up. He's got a big match. And he just got married also, I believe.
Dude, man. His wife, you want to talk about
outputting the coverage.
Outputting the coverage. Tim Sylvia, I love you, my man.
Jesus.
Dude, you fucking put it out of the stadium.
Wow.
You big, ugly son of a bitch.
Bro, his wife is smoking hot. Smoking hot. No disrespect either. Like all props, brother. His guy,
yeah.
His wife is smoking hot. Like I saw the wedding photos. I was like, dude, you definitely outputted the coverage.
I'm so proud of him.
You're a fucking
I am
animal.
so proud of him.
I was like, oh, I just bow down, buddy. Bow down.
Yep.
Good
See,
for him.
This is when Josh is always talking about, oh, look at my jawline. Look how good look. It don't fucking
shit.
matter, dude.
Doesn't mean shit. This guy, man, he's insane. That's fucking great. What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, we'll go one more and we'll reverse the playing field this time. I do got to get John back in the farm because the horses are neighing
That's
over
right,
there.
mister. I got farm work to do.
But John got to give us some insight there. So, Josh, I want to give you an opportunity. Javier recently was talking about Cain being back in the gym as a coach, saying he's blessed to have him there. Just want to see if you had the chance to get over there, say hi, and just kind of what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, he's still on house arrest. He's making the trip back and forth. He's there twice a day. He's got a little extra freedom. He can do certain stuff throughout the day now. He's on a schedule now. So, all I know is that I have been there a couple times, watch him coaching, watching him coach the sparring, watching him coach the wrestling program. He doesn't coach the jiu-jitsu, but he's coaching the sparring and the light room sparring, working with techniques on the kickboxing, putting things together, chaining it together. Look, anytime you got someone like him, whether it's DC or Cain or, people that have been in the sport for a long time, but he's just got a work ethic.
People that excelled at the sport, and they don't make other people do things the way they did it.
Yeah, he's not that guy. But what he wants out of you is he just wants 100%. Like, if you're not going to give me 100%, get the fuck out of here. Like, get away from me. Like, he doesn't say it like I would say it. Like, he just is like, he just doesn't show you any attention. He's like, okay, whatever. But every fighter in that gym, especially all the young ones, they all understand how special it is, and he's such a nice guy. He just wants to share all of his knowledge. He wants to be around. He wants you to get better. He wants you to be a champion. Like, it's hard to find people that believe in you and that want you to. When you're an amateur, when you're a new pro, and you've got someone like Cain Velasquez telling you, like, hey, you should try this or you should try that, or talking to you, and he talks to you and he's very soft spoken, and everything he's going through right now, and he's in there dedicating his time to you for you to achieve your goals. I mean, it's kind of selfless, man. He's such a nice guy, man. Such a nice guy, and he's going through a lot right now, but he's really exerting his energy, for other people. And
he's being positive about everything with it, and that's what you expect out of someone like him.
I want to say thank you guys for continuing to support our show. Go to onlyfans.com/Wayne and subscribe to us over there. It is free. And we want to thank you guys, and go to Wayne and merch also. Pick up some of our t-shirts, sweaters, all those things, sweatshirts, all those things. And as John would say, until next time, we will see you.
We'll see you.